Welcome to Rauta's album reviews. This time we go to Germany. This is a band known Pest, which is something that especially older people might instantly recognize. After all, this is a band from the 90s. However, this particular Pest, I will soon tell you a little bit more about that, was actually disbanded along the years for some tragic reasons because one of the ex-members got unfortunately killed very many years ago, and then the band was gone. However, past few years, and this band, to my surprise, made a comeback. And this is the first album ever since they made this comeback. When I noticed this band making this album through the Heidens Hart label, who kindly enough sent me this CD, I was happy to recognize it and request this particular album. Why so? Because I remember the band being a good one, so why the hell not? And I think it's my time to give this band a little bit of recognition, respect, and all that stuff. Now, when you go for Metal Archive site, you will see quite a few bands with the name Pest. Not only that, but all of them are black metal ones. One from Finland, two from Germany, and one from Sweden, United States. And that is where it gets confused. So when you're going to go for Pest, obviously this link is in the description box. It's the one from Lower Saxony area. It is all mentioned here, and already, like I mentioned, started in 1990s, 1997 to be precise, which soon followed by demo and 10 albums and so forth. They have this rather cool logo with this Black Plague epidemic doctor, or whatever it was called, the doctor's costume to keep away the plagues. So very fitting for the name after all, because this Pest is definitely related to Black Death era and so forth. We're not to talk about history, we're talking about the band. So what happened really in the early 2010s is that this band was really disbanded, and it was mentioned here that they released one album posthumously after the death of this member in 2014, but then it was gone and nothing really was happening for a lot of years. However, 2025 and Eternal Nightmares is here, the sixth full album, at least according to Metal Archive site. You must always realize there might be some minor errors. I'm not suggesting there are in this case, but just saying, in case I say something, oh, you are basing that information on that side, you don't know nothing, Jon Snow, and I'm like, yeah. But it is what it is. So let's tune in for Eternal Nightmares and discuss this particular album. Having full album length with almost 45 minutes, this goes out with about 9 tracks. Exactly 9 tracks, which is mostly, full songs, but including a sort of kind of a instrumental intro and outro. And the rest, well, it's pretty much black metal from the 90s kind of a thing. So very much second wave black metal. Now, this is nothing outstanding, revolutionary, or different in the sense of what you might be thinking. So if you're really kind of like going back in time and you forget that this was released in 2025, you might really be thinking we're still in the early 2000s. Because this is in a way kind of a timeless piece. Not only in terms of songwriting, but both in production and basically everything here. And that is, in my opinion, obviously a good thing. I hate when bands are so retro that they kind of have to copycat certain era or whatever, and they're not really doing that. Or when they're so modern that it feels like it's all AI generated. Now, Eternal Nightmares might not be exactly some kind of album that really makes you think twice, wow, this is really happening kind of a thing, because it's more like, let's stay true to the original path and let's make a new album with that. Consistent and all, I think, are the key words here. Consistency. Songwriting wise, this is pretty good. Sometimes these songs, because they tend to be a little bit too lengthy at some points, feel like you could have to have more compact. But apart from that, I think this is pretty nice, pretty sweet of an album. What I'm saying here is, when it comes to individual riffs or full songs, everything is nailing the run pretty nicely. There are no moments where you feel awkward or like, hey, this doesn't really belong here. My point here is they are really being true to the second wave of black metal in so many ways. The production is somewhat rough. It's definitely not too modern and polished, but it's not weak or awkward in so many ways. What I'm saying here is it really supports the music, and that is of course the most important job what production could really have or do. Vocals are quite basic in the sense of being black metal band. There is nothing, once again, exactly outstanding or different. And once again, that is really fitting the bill here. So if you're now thinking what I'm gonna say about this in a critical manner is, I'm gonna say it. It's decent, it's pretty good of an album, but no cigar. Meaning it's not maybe gold standard album as such. This obviously depends on your individual taste, and also how many black metal albums from the 90s and early 2000s you have been listening to. When it comes as a really good and strong one, probably is because you haven't been listening to so many bands and albums of this given style. This is not to slander or disrespect the given band. What I'm really saying here is it's exactly what it is. Pretty good of a black metal album. Nothing can take it from you or anybody else, but it's not really one of these albums that's gonna challenge classics and put them in their graves, respectively. Anyhow, worth listening to, worth enjoying to. I think it's pretty nice, and I gave it a few spins, and I was never, bored or bothered with anything what the album has to offer, but it didn't make it my like skin go goosebumps and all. So definitely worth checking out, and of course if you like it, go buy it. Links are included in the description box. Now go listen and enjoy some Pest.